It's week 9 NFL review time. Are you ready? You better be. Baltimore versus Miami. The Dolphins continued to shoot themselves in the foot nonstop this entire game. Lamar Jackson, he must be Japanese because he excels at killing dolphins. Get it? Through a bunch of touchdowns, the Dolphins missed chip shot field goals, while the Ravens just put belt to ass the entire time. Tua, after seemingly recovering from a bad performance last week, has once again reverted back to being dog shit. He wouldn't even get off a Hail Mary attempt because he was sacked. I mean, literally, this is just walk-in stuff. This is easy stuff. Lamar Jackson didn't even have to play in this game, and the Ravens probably would have won. Long story short, the Ravens won pretty comfortably, 28-6, while the Dolphins are somehow going to keep Mike McDaniel on as head coach for the rest of the season, so they should at least have some comedic value for those who aren't fans of theirs. I wonder what McDaniel has on team owner Stephen Ross to keep his job. The video continues right after this short break. As most of you all know, I'm a gigantic Philadelphia Eagles fan, and not to brag, we're kind of a big deal. We've won 2 of the last 8 Super Bowls. We've been to 2 of the last 3 Super Bowls. And so, as a fan, there's never been a better time to go see an Eagles home game. But how can I find tickets for an Eagles home game easier than ever before? Well, that's where SeatGeek comes into play. They're the sponsor of today's video, and I want to give them a huge shout out. With over 28 million downloads, SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app. There are more than 70,000 events listed on SeatGeek, including concerts, sports, festivals, and more. It's a great time of year for sports. The NFL and college football are both in full swing, and the NBA is also back for all you basketball fans. I love using SeatGeek. I've used it to go to Eagles home games before. The experience each time is great, especially if you're playing a division rival. The atmosphere, the camaraderie that you feel, especially when your team is scoring a lot of touchdowns, there's nothing like it. SeatGeek also has your back. Each ticket is rated on a scale of 1 to 10, so you know you're getting a good deal. So look for the green dots. Green means good, red means bad. Plus, every ticket is backed by SeatGeek's buyer guarantee. And you know I came through for you guys. You can use code BARRY10 for 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. That's 10% off any tickets with promo code BARRY10. Make sure you click the link in the description to download the app and have the code automatically added to your account so you can use it later. Thank you, SeatGeek. Pittsburgh versus Indianapolis. The Colts began this game on fire and looking like their typical selves as Daniel Diapers scored a touchdown run. The Steelers' offense was somewhat inconsistent, but it didn't really matter because the Colts and Daniel Diapers completely regressed to form from that insanity run their first 8 weeks, turning the ball over 6 times, and that was enough for the Steelers in their typical Mike Tomlin voodoo shit to win a game, while once again Rodgers was steady but not great. But again, it didn't matter because the Colts just kept giving them short fields and turned the ball over. This is what Tom Brady basically lived off of for 20 years. And the final score was basically misleading because after the Steelers went up by 17 with 5 minutes left, the Colts had some garbage time stuff, and this guy decided to try and hurdle, and he fumbled shit, which was pretty dumb to do, but he did anyway. So the final score ended up being 27-20, but this game was not really that close. I have zero faith in the Colts. I think they're Fugazi. And the Steelers, once again, they're right on pace to once again finish 9-8 or 10-7, as God intended. New England versus Atlanta. I don't know about you, but this is easily the most memorable matchup between these two franchises. Drake May continued to put up some pretty numbers, although he is taking a lot of sacks this year to kind of pad his passer rating and interceptions. Don't blame me. I'm just speaking what I feel. Michael Penix came back after a week off and played pretty decent, although it was not enough. Spoiler alert, I love the fact that Cardi B, who I guess is Stefon Diggs' squeeze right now, was in a suite with Robert Kraft. We all know Robert Kraft loves sex workers. The game actually looked like it might be a blowout until the very end of the first half when Drake May got strip sacked and had his manhood taken away, and then the Falcons converted a touchdown to go into halftime down 21-17, and the Patriots got another field goal, but they just could not seem to pull away as the Falcons eventually tied the game on a great one-handed snag by Drake London on 4th and goal, but their kicker missed the extra point. I mean, I've been saying it all year long. Having a kicker with the last name Romo is just too on the nose, and after not being able to convert with just over 2 minutes left, the Falcons trusted their defense, and that was a big mistake as they never got the ball back and ended up losing by 1 point. I can't think of another memorable choke the Falcons have had against the Patriots. Can you? San Francisco versus New Jersey. Jackson Fart kicked off the festivities with a dink and dunk touchdown pass to this random tight end who channeled 2002 Jeremy Shockey. But this is the Giants. Nothing good that happened defense to them ever last long, since 2011 at least. And sure enough, the 49ers then ripped off a bunch of consecutive points. Mac Jones dink and dunked his way down the field before he actually got his shit wrecked by Brian Burns and got intercepted, which led to a field goal. No, it didn't lead to a field goal because the Giants suck and their kicker missed it. After exchanging field goals in the third quarter, the 49ers put the game away with a Brian Robinson Jr. touchdown run after he completely bitched number 2, no offense to Odell Beckham Jr., on the touchdown run. And then Jackson Dart, he's getting very good at padding his numbers in garbage time, as we see here on a touchdown run. Christian McCaffrey, God, he just is like, I just want my daughter to be with him forever. I don't have a daughter, but if I did, I would love to have him as my son-in-law. But anyway, so yeah, Jackson Dart padded his stats in great garbage time. The Giants continue to be one of the biggest jokes in professional sports. Hey, remember Brock Purdy? Yeah, I don't know if he's still alive anymore. I guess Mac Jones is just the quarterback now. I haven't really noticed much of a difference. Chargers versus Tits. Oh, look at Justin Herbert. This is what happens when you spend more time at baseball games and having premarital sex than you do watching film. He throws a pick 6 to give the Titans a 7-0 lead, but then he would eventually respond, as you would expect, because the Titans are terrible. But the Titans put up a good fight, even though it had nothing to do with their offense. And really, you can see the highlights for yourself here. This is a great throw to Quentin Johnston. But this is concerning if I'm a Titans fan. This is their 9th game, and Cam Ward still has not played well, really, in any game. The only reason this game was close was because of their defense and special teams. Cam Ward has worse numbers this year than Will Levis had the previous 2 seasons. And yes, that is concerning because the bar for that is literally in hell, and he's supposed to be your franchise guy. I'm not saying that he can't get better, but it's not the greatest start. And then finally, oh wow, here's the Chargers doing a tush push. Good for them, but I don't hear anybody having emotional breakdowns and writing college theses online because the Chargers did a couple tush pushes like they do with the Eagles. That's quite interesting. Jim Harbaugh just always looks like he just drank an IC and he has to go take a massive piss. Vikings versus Lions. I don't know about anybody else, but it feels like the Lions aren't really getting as much hype as they have been in the last couple years, even though they're still a good team. Oh yeah, and JJ McCarthy came back after the longest sprained ankle injury in history, and he played okay, I guess. He held the fort down, made a couple nice throws, but it was a steady game manager performance, as you might expect from JJ McCarthy. He's been doing this ever since Michigan, which is fitting because he was back in Michigan, and the Lions, they fought back, and this was a competitive game, but the big play really was David Montgomery's fumble in the third quarter, which ended up giving the Vikings a short field, which JJ McCarthy sneakily ran a touchdown on, and then a blocked field goal in the fourth quarter, which helped give the Vikings a double-digit lead. Just simple plays like that, turnovers and block kicks, they're gonna send you to the losing side of the ledger more often than not, and the Lions are finding out that that's what happened. I mean, really, going into this year, the Lions were seen as a serious contender to be the first seed in the NFC again, but this was a pretty uninspired performance against a mediocre Vikings team. Denver versus Houston. The game began with the kickers competing to see who can miss a 51-yard field goal more embarrassingly. You decide the winner there. Oh wow, you can make a 23-yard field goal. Good for you, buddy. Bo Nix continues to do that thing where he plays like shit for most of the game and then turns it on in the fourth. He's so fucking fluky. This whole Denver team is just fluky as shit, man. Constantly winning these games. They're not a very good team, even though their record says they're elite. And I mean, they're down 8 in the fourth quarter to a Houston Texans team that was playing Davis Mills because CJ Stroud got hurt. It's just, they're finding ways to win. This is very Tim Tebow-esque, you know, and it just doesn't seem sustainable, but they somehow found a way to get the job done and win with a field goal. This is a very forgettable game, but they won, so they're 7-2, as we see Sean Payton showing off his armpits. That's disgusting, Sean. The Bears versus the Bengals. This was the game of the week, really. It started off with fireworks, and I'm not going to make a JPP joke because I'm not predictable and repetitive, and really, it just didn't stop from there. The Bears channeled their 2017 Eagles with a Philly special type play to Caleb Williams. Then they went up 17-7, and Joe Flacco turned back the clock by throwing a bomb to T. Higgins, who made a great snag. I'm just saying that it's a little bit weird that 41-year-old shitty-ass Joe Flacco is looking elite with the same team that we were told only Joe Burrow could look elite with. It's a little, I'm just noticing it, okay? This might be the single worst missed field goal I've seen in years, and that is saying a lot, because this, I mean, good lord, this wasn't even close right before halftime. They should have taken points off the board for the Bears for this. But really, Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson were in their bag all game long, and we all know Caleb Williams is a very metrosexual, effeminate guy, so he has a huge bag. But the Bengals and Joe Flacco just did not go away. They took a 27-24 lead, but then the Bears said, you know what, we're the Chicago Bears, and we're suddenly good at offense now for the first time in 70 years. So they were up by 4 entering the fourth quarter. Then Flacco Flacco fumbled the ball, and it seemed as though the Bears were going to win this one comfortably because the Bengals missed a field goal down 7 with 6 minutes left, and then the Bears scored a touchdown to go up by 14. And then down 14, Flacco threw a terrible interception that was seemingly returned 100 yards or so for a game-sealing touchdown, but no, it got overturned, and somehow the Bears literally blew a 14-point lead in the final 2 minutes because they gave up a touchdown, then an onside kick, and then gave up another touchdown pass. So the Bengals, by the grace of God, took a 1-point lead with 50 seconds left. The Bears had no timeouts, and yet the Bengals defense is so dog shit they still could not prevent the Bears from scoring on a 58-yard pass for a touchdown. Oh my goodness gracious. And the game ended with a Hail Mary interception. The Bengals, a week after losing at home to the Jets, despite scoring 38 points, lose at home to the Bears, two of the most offensively cursed franchises in sports, in back-to-back weeks, despite putting up 40 points a game. Damn, that's all I have to say about this. Just damn. Panthers versus the Packers. This was a much-needed game because I was getting a little bit sick and tired of hearing people lump in Jordan Love with Favre and Rodgers because he just happened to play on the same team. This is a great optical illusion. It looks like it's going to be a throw in the corner to Xavier Legette, but it ended up being caught for an interception. I don't even think this guy looked at it. He just reached his hands out and said, hey, give me the ball. Packers have only lost 2 games this year, but they've both been pretty inexcusable, and this one was just inexcusable. Jordan Love was really bad in this game. The special teams was also bad. Brandon McManus was distracted by a flight attendant, and he missed this kick by about 30 yards. I mean, what the fuck is this interception? 1st and 10, you're just throwing an arm punt. I mean, I don't normally mind a quarterback throwing deep, but there usually has to be some sort of explanation for it. But the Panthers, being the Panthers, they would still give Green Bay numerous chances to stay alive, missing an extra point to keep it a 7-point game. And then Jordan Love, this is one of the greatest plays of all time for all the wrong reasons. He does a bunch of running around. This is Patrick Mahomes versus the Buccaneers in the Super Bowl, where he just is running 300 yards. And I mean, if you're going to run around this much, at least throw a jump ball for your guys instead of throwing it right to a defender who somehow dropped this pass so it doesn't go against Love's stats. But this is one of the worst plays I think I've ever seen a quarterback make. But either way, it didn't matter for a moment because the Packers would tie the game up, but their defense allowed Bryce Young to walk them down, which is extremely embarrassing, and run down the clock and kick a game-winning field goal to win 16-13. The Panthers are somehow 5-4, the same record as the Kansas City Chiefs. That's right, Bryce Young is better than Patrick Mahomes. Rams versus Saints. Matthew Stafford was just completely bending the Saints over and devastating them. New Orleans hasn't seen devastation like this since Hurricane Katrina. I mean, Matthew Stafford just had a phenomenal game. He's having a phenomenal season. I mean, this throw to Puka Nacua was ridiculous for a touchdown. The Saints did score a touchdown just before halftime, but this game was never competitive. Whether it's Tyler Shuck, get a new pronunciation for your last name, dickhead, or Spencer Rattler, the Saints continue to be dog shit, and this game was never in doubt. Devontae Adams just keeps catching touchdowns, but by God, is he better than Devin Hester? We'll never know. The Rams comfortably win this one by 24 to improve to 6-2. It really takes a Hall of Fame caliber quarterback like Jalen Hurts to defeat the Rams this year. Don't get mad at me, pal. I'm just speaking facts here. Objective facts. Jacksonville versus Las Vegas. I love the Jaguars and Trevor Lawrence because neither team is ever out of the game when the Jaguars are involved. And yes, I say Jaguars like Jaguars. Get over it, people. Brock Bowers had a phenomenal game. He scored a touchdown that was confirmed by his ass hitting the ground before he hit the white line. This actually happened. I'm not making it up. But of course, their kicker missed the extra point. I mean, I could do this for free. They're paying this guy millions of dollars. I could miss as many extra points as you want for free. The biggest special teams takeaway from this game was Cam Little breaking the single game NFL record for the longest field goal ever. We all know he did this in preseason when he hit a 70-yarder. Now he does it for real with a 68-yarder, supplanting famous woman respecter Justin Tucker for the all-time record. I don't really have anything snarky to say about this. It's pretty cool, although considering how good kickers are nowadays, I don't know how long it's going to last. It looked like this was going to be a low-scoring game, but again, with Jacksonville, you never know. Geno Smith once again threw a terrible interception. There were people in the media who said he was better than Jalen Hurts before this year. I'm not lying. Trevor Lawrence then in the fourth quarter, it was 9-6, and then literally everybody just said, let's stop playing defense and just let's give up touchdowns. Ashton Genty, whatever his name is, he's a real talent. The Raiders have some talent with Genty and Bowers, but until they get a legit quarterback, it's just going to be more of the same. And also, yeah, their defense sucks too because they allowed the Jaguars to look like the greatest show on turf Rams in the fourth quarter. But even still, it looked like they might pull one out of their ass when Brock Bowers had a huge touchdown with under 2 minutes left. The Raiders defense couldn't hold. They got sent into overtime. The Jaguars Jaguars had a long drive, and then Trevor Lawrence went over the top for the touchdown. But with the new overtime rules, everybody gets a chance. This is the participation trophy era we're in. Thanks a lot, Obama. And with 16 seconds left, Bowers had his third and final touchdown catch of the game, and the Raiders went for 2 because they're an ethical team and they realize that ties are bullshit. And despite having a guy wide open, Geno Smith had the pass batted down. Pete Carroll is absolutely distraught. I mean, he has no fucking idea where he is. Let's be real. But it's a huge win for Jacksonville, and they're currently keeping the Chiefs out of the playoffs. I have zero doubt that that will not hold up 8 weeks from now, but for right now, it's true. So celebrate all you want, Jacksonville, even though your city is mostly full of a bunch of old people with saggy balls and stuff. It's disgusting. Not a very good place. Bills versus Chiefs. The Bills struck first with a touchdown pass from Allen to Dalton Kincaid to go up 7-0 before the Chiefs answered back to tie it as Rashee Rice pointed into the crowd to one of his victims. This is very sinister. The Chiefs would take a lead for a short time before the Bills scored back-to-back touchdowns to go up by 11. Oh, wow. The Bills and Josh Allen, they're doing the tush push, and I don't see anybody bitching and complaining about this. I wonder what the difference between Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts is that would make some people like him more. Wow, I can't think of the reason. Anyway, the biggest play really of this game was right before the end of the first half. Instead of a touchdown, the Chiefs had to settle for a field goal. The Chiefs all game long could not block Joey Bosa, and eventually the Bills took a 15-point lead into the fourth quarter on another Josh Allen tush push. People always talk about Mahomes not throwing deep. Well, that's basically all he did in this entire game. The Chiefs, being the Chiefs, eventually cut it to 7 and had the ball back, but Mahomes decided to do an arm punt. Again, I don't know what happened, but Joey Bosa just turned the clock back. I mean, the Chiefs offense was really up and down and inconsistent, but despite that, they would still get the ball back again because the Bills are the Bills after a missed doink. But it was too little too late as Mahomes, I gotta admit, I'm a little bit disappointed in the arm strength here by Mahomes. I know he's backing up and stuff, but I mean, geez, I thought he'd at least get it to the end zone. Either way, the Bills end up winning. They've now beaten the Chiefs 5 straight years in the regular season. Just do not look at their record versus Kansas City and Josh Allen's record versus Kansas City in the playoffs. Seattle versus Washington. Sam Darnold in the first half of this game might have unironically been the greatest quarterback performance ever. I'm not even joking. I mean, good Lord, he was absolutely dealing. He's been dealing for most of this season, actually. And if I was a Jets fan, I would most likely, well, I can't say that because I'll get demonetized. But yeah, either way, this game got out of hand pretty quickly for Washington. It was 28-0, and then Washington got on the board with a Jaden Griffin III touchdown run. But even that was not a moment they could really cherish because the Seahawks got down the field to kick a field goal to make it 31-7 at halftime. If not for this dumbass interception that Darnold had when he momentarily relapsed into Jets Darnold, it might have been one of the best eye test performances ever. Meanwhile, the Commanders, who I told everybody were going to regress hard, but I got called a hater for it, are now 3-6, and Daniels is now out after his elbow exploded. So another lost season for Washington, while Seattle is now 6-2. I never thought I would say this, but Sam Darnold might be a legitimate MVP candidate. Arizona versus Dallas. The Cowboys are the Cowboys, but so far this year, their offense has been amazing at home until this game. Did you know that Kyler Murray has missed the last 3 games? I haven't really noticed much of a difference anyway. So the Cardinals took control in this game early. Jake Ferguson fumbled the ball away hilariously, but the Cowboys special teams did keep them in it with a blocked touchdown, but that did not last very long because the Cardinals went right back down and scored to go up by 10. Here's Brandon Aubrey. He thinks he's Cam Little. I mean, this is just a terrible attempt. Brissett then had the Cardinals up by 17, which was the case going into the fourth quarter. It looked for a second like we were in for a Dak Prescott stat padding masterclass, but the Cowboys turned the ball over a couple more times, including a Hail Mary interception to end the game. But hey, at least now they traded for Logan Wilson from the Bengals. That's really going to turn their season around, I guess. The Cowboys remain the Cowboys.